Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. I hope you're doing good and well. So for this next video, I'm talking about underrated female vocalists in the metal scene. Now, of course, the word underrated is bandied around a lot online. People love to talk about things that they think are underrated, or in this case, people that they think are underrated. And, I'm feeding right into that with this video. But I should stress that even if you disagree or you don't think that these vocalists are underrated and, I'm talking them up too much, I think it's always good, though, to shine a light on the music or the bands or the vocalists, just because I think they deserve the credit anyway. It might be that they're underrated, that you think they're overrated, or they're rated just about right, but they're still great, and so it's still good to talk about the things we love, or in this case, vocalists I really like, and I think are hugely talented and deserve all the credit they get. And in this case, I think that these vocalists often don't get the credit they deserve, and sometimes for different reasons. And I'm going to obviously talk about each of those reasons in turn here, but as well as talking about just that and why I think the singers are underrated, I'm also going to share what I found out about. I've done a bit of research online about these singers just to make this video a little bit more interesting than just running through a quick list and saying why I think each singer is underrated. I'm also going to share some things I found out, interesting things about these singers too. So anyway, I should also just add before I start my list that this is not an exhaustive list, because I'm only actually talking about a few vocalists here. There are many, many more. So it might be that I do a future video at some point, obviously, to carry on this. So do let me know in the comments who you think are also underrated, maybe female vocalists in the metal scene, and why you think that they're underrated. Let me know. That'd be really interesting to find that out. Anyway, let's start with my first pick here, and my first pick is Laura Guldermond from the heavy metal band, the all-women heavy metal band Burning Witches. And I think she had big shoes to fill when Serena Telly left the band back in 2018 after the release of Hexenhammer. Incidentally, Hexenhammer is an absolutely incredible album. I highly recommend you check that one out. And I think that, people obviously, often when a new singer comes in, there are lots of expectations, there's disappointment following maybe the departure of the previous singer. And I think in this case this is applied somewhat. I also think that Laura sometimes gets unfair criticism as well. People just always compare the new singer to the former singer. And, as much as I love Hexenhammer, and it's possibly my favourite album, actually, I think it was my #1 ranked album when I did a Burning Witches ranking. I think Laura is still she's a fantastic vocalist. I think she is underrated partly because she's come into the band after, a great album like Hexenhammer. But she's really good. I mean, it's no coincidence, right? Burning Witches have 5 great albums. 3 of them have had Laura as singer now. So she's really, she's been with the band for a few years, and she, I think, has gelled really well with them. There's the chemistry obviously there. I think that's working now. And I think she's a great fit for Burning Witches. And she has this style which fits nicely, I think, with that traditional heavy metal sound. And, she's got great wails as well. And I like her intensity and the way that she delivers the vocals. So I've seen, some unfair criticism of Laura online, I think, as well. So that's why she's my first pick as an underrated singer in the metal scene. Underrated female vocalist. So the other thing as well is I did a bit of research. Laura has her own website. She offers vocal coaching online. She also does some events, I think some workshops, where she teaches growling and vocal effects and things like that. It all sounds very interesting. So Laura obviously does more than just singing for Burning Witches. She also does some coaching and things like that in her own time as well. Next up, I'm talking about Cami Gilbert, the singer of Oceans of Slumber. Now, she is an absolute powerhouse of a singer, I think. And, I've read up online that she has encountered some challenges with Cami being a black woman. She's experienced people who have kind of racialized expectations of the sorts of music that she should, or the sorts of band that she should be in and things like that. And so she's had to deal with those preconceptions. But she's talked about how she's dealt with those challenges and how Oceans of Slumber has really suited her. They're a very versatile band, and I think she's an incredibly versatile singer who can sing in lots of different styles, and so she's got a great range to her voice. I think she's an absolutely phenomenal vocalist, and she should just be talked about more, in my opinion. I just think that, she should be talked about in the same breath as some of these other vocalists that get way more attention than Cami does. And, I don't want to necessarily pick out any specific names here, maybe a Nightwish singer here and there, but for me, Cami is an absolutely great vocalist, the great female vocalist on the metal scene. Why isn't she talked about more? I don't know. But anyway, she should definitely be, I'm including her on my underrated list, because I think she's genuinely underrated. She, maybe she does sometimes get some credit, but it feels like there's not enough for the quality of singer that she is. Now, my next pick on my list here is Fabienne Ernie. And Fabienne joined Elverti in 2016 when there was a lineup change. She's done a couple of albums, I believe, with Elverti. She's also obviously got her own project, Illumishade, which was born out of her master's degree, I believe, or master's thesis that she did at Zurich University. So there's an interesting fact about Fabienne. And she's got this amazing kind of higher range, I think. So I went online and I found out on the, I think it's the Range Planet website. Maybe I'll drop a link or two to some of these references in the description box. But she talks about, or it talks about how she has these numerous money notes that she hits throughout the fifth octave. Now, I'm no vocal coach, so I don't know much about octaves, but I imagine that's sort of saying she hits some really great, those notes which are spine-tingling type notes. And listening to the latest Illumishade album, their second album, The Other Side of You, that absolutely is what she does. I think personally, what I can tell, I think she must have great breath control, great control of her voice, because, she so seamlessly goes through different styles, and she's got this amazing, like when she hits those money notes, she can hold them down as well and control them really well, and sort of go from song to song, or verse to verse or verse to chorus, just so seamlessly, I think, with the different sort of vocal nuances that she gives to her songs as well. I think she's an incredible singer, and she's just, again, I think maybe one of these examples where maybe she's getting a bit more of the spotlight now. And again, I think because she came into Elverti after Anna Murphy left, that there was a little bit of animosity possibly there too. She is fantastic live as well. I've seen her live for Elverti, and the energy she brings to the stage, or at least that's my memories, that she brought this amazing energy to the stage. I just think Fabienne is another singer that's not talked about enough, for my money anyway. And yeah, another great singer. She's my third choice in this list. Next up, I'm going to talk about Diana Leah, the new singer for Delane. Now, she has only done one album with Delane, and some people might think of jumping the gun saying already that Diana is underrated. But just a moment here, because their latest album, Dark Waters, the more I've listened to that album, the more I've appreciated Diana's great performance on here. This is her first album with this band. She's also filling the shoes of legacy band singer Charlotte Wessels, who everyone obviously holds in high praise, including myself. But let me tell you this, I think that Diana actually has given Delane a bit of a boost. I think Dark Waters is, an underrated album from last year. I didn't see it on any lists. I only mentioned it as a sort of belated honourable mention on a different list that I did, because not even I didn't even know, or realise just how well I think that how good this album is, and how well she sings on it, and just how much of a good blend she is with that music of Delane. She's got, again, quite high-pitched voice, but it just works so well with their music as a contrast, rather like Charlotte's did. But it's kind of been like a hand-in-glove situation for me with an extraordinary thing about Diana is how she joined Delane, which is she just left a comment or a post or something on Delane's Instagram account, and Martin Westerholt got in contact with her and emailed her in follow-up to that, and then it was the rest is history kind of a case. And Dark Waters is an album you should definitely check out, and I've mentioned it before on the channel once or twice at least, but it is a really, really good album. And I think Diana is underrated in the sense that, I think she's a great new singer for this band, and people that are just stuck on Charlotte maybe need to realise just how good Diana is as this new singer for Delane. So this is an example where, this is obviously my opinion, but I think she's really great, and let's hope that she stays with Delane and that they continue to produce albums like Dark Waters as time goes on, so her star can rise even more, so to speak. And lastly, my last pick is none other than Clementine Delaunay of Visions of Atlantis, also of Exit Eden. Now, I think that she has had a bit more of the spotlight in recent times, Clementine Delaunay, but here's the thing, right? I think she's still underrated because I think she's so good. I think she's so good that people, even though that bands are getting more popular now and they are getting credit and she's getting credit, for how good she is, I still don't think that she gets enough credit for how good she actually is. Like, for me, I honestly think she could fit in with a band and be as good as somebody like a Nightwish singer, for example. I think she deserves to be spoken in the same breath. You know, if we continue to get great albums, and, you know, her performances have been absolutely sublime in the albums she's done with Visions of Atlantis. I think you see her performances live as well. She's got this ability to go from, you know, a lot of singers, you know, a lot of sopranos, I think, you know, maybe they do the classical thing really well, but they don't always do the clean sort of, you know, melodic pop style singing quite as well. Whereas she, I think she does every style she does absolutely brilliantly, and she's spot on with her singing. I find her singing almost faultless. And I think she's an absolutely brilliant singer. And yeah, maybe I've said enough there. Some interesting facts I think I found about Clementine. She's actually, you know, she's got a website and she's got a blog, and I've also read that, you know, some things on her website about how she was bullied when she was younger, and how she overcame being bullied, and how she's regained her self-confidence as a rock star, you know, as a front woman, if you like, as a singer of you know, of bands that she's been in since then. She's not just been in Visions of Atlantis, of course. And there's some really great advice on her, actually. I recommend you check that out. Maybe I should drop a link to Clementine's website. Do check that out, because it's actually really good advice if you've been bullied maybe in the past, or you're getting bullied even at the moment, whatever age you are. There's some really good tips, actually. Some, you know, some people might say, yeah, some of it's common sense type tips, but I sometimes think that common sense tips are as good as any other tips. So yeah, that's it from me. Let me know what you think of my choices here. Do you agree? Do you disagree? It's all good. It's all good to discuss these things. I just think, like I say, I just like to talk about, you know, sometimes just talented people, regardless of gender as such. Just talented people, why I think they're so good, what's interesting about them. And that's what this video is really all about. So do let me know in the comments what you think of this. Otherwise, from me, until next time, bye for now.